Hi folks, this is Alan. How you guys doing? And I'm back with another movie review for you today. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 1958 film A Night to Remember, directed by Roy Ward Baker and starring Kenneth More and a whole bunch of other people in basically the telling of the sinking of the Titanic. It's not the only Titanic movie in existence, and James Cameron may have had the much bigger budget, and he may have had the much bigger box office success with his version of the Titanic story, simply called Titanic. But an argument can definitely be made that A Night to Remember, directed by Roy Ward Baker, is the definitive movie about the sinking of the Titanic. What do I need to tell you about the plot? The Titanic, it hits an iceberg, it sinks, and this movie tells you the story of that night to remember. It's also worth noting, I think, that at the time I'm doing this review, A Night to Remember is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. So happy 60th anniversary, A Night to Remember. This is a fantastic film. There's no doubt in my mind that A Night to Remember is easily the best Titanic film ever made. Even though James Cameron had the more popular movie, he had the bigger budget, he had the bigger box office success, and I will say that James Cameron certainly had the most technically impressive Titanic movie. There's no denying the technical brilliance of James Cameron's version of Titanic, but I really do think that the Roy Ward Baker film from 1958 is the better Titanic movie. And there have been other Titanic movies that have been made and miniseries and all of that, but I really do think the King Titanic movie is A Night to Remember from 1958. Didn't have as big a budget, but what it did have going was a terrific script, a terrific cast, great direction from Roy Ward Baker, and you felt the tension of the sinking of the Titanic here, and it's so wonderfully done for a production from 60 years ago, you know. And what I appreciate about A Night to Remember is that it focuses on all of the real people who were on board the Titanic, whereas James Cameron focused his Titanic film on a couple of fictional lovers, Jack Dawson and Rose Carver, played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. There was no Jack Dawson or Rose Carver on board the real Titanic. They're just fictional characters made up by James Cameron, and Cameron chose to focus on those two rather than the real people who were on board the Titanic that night. I just think that the script for A Night to Remember is so much better, and it tells the story in just a little over 2 hours, whereas Titanic was over 3 hours, and I just think that it's a much tighter movie. It's a much tighter movie, it moves along better. There's a whole lot of people in the cast of A Night to Remember, but all you really need to know is that Kenneth More plays Second Officer Charles Lightoller, and he is basically the member of the cast that we follow the most in this movie. He's the main person that the audience hook up with and follow on the adventure of the sinking of the Titanic. Kenneth More is terrific in this film, very, very commanding as Second Officer Charles Lightoller. He's very, very good. Lots of people in this movie, lots of people. Not really huge names, with only maybe Honor Blackman, who you would also know as Pussy Galore from the classic James Bond movie Goldfinger. She shows up playing Mrs. Liz Lucas. But other than her, you know, no other big names. But anyway, the important thing to remember is that we follow Kenneth More in this movie as Second Officer Charles Lightoller. And Kenneth More, very, very good, very, very commanding in the role. Everybody in the cast is good. The whole cast from start to finish, from top to bottom, very, very good. Roy Ward Baker's direction is solid. The production values on this movie, solid. All the sinking sequences, even though they weren't working with that much of a budget in comparison to what James Cameron would later get, nonetheless, all the scenes, very, very believable with the ship going down. You definitely feel the sinking of the ship in this movie. The only technical mistake that A Night to Remember makes, and it has to be said, is that at the very end of the movie, when the Titanic finally sinks into the ocean for good, it sinks into the ocean all in one piece. We know now that the Titanic snapped in half before it went under, but then, of course, the people who shot A Night to Remember back in 1958 simply didn't know that, so we will forgive them for that technical mistake, seeing the Titanic go under the water totally in one piece. like I said, they didn't know that the Titanic snapped in half. We will forgive them. But yeah, technically brilliant, wonderful script. The script by Eric Ambler, which is based on the book by Walter Lord, very tight. The whole cast of the film is wonderful, great production values, and the movie moves along at a brisk 2 hours. It's just 3 minutes over the 2-hour mark, whereas James Cameron's movie was well over 3 hours. And I just think at the 2-hour running time, that's a lot tighter, it's a lot better, and it helps in making A Night to Remember the more enjoyable Titanic movie for me. A Night to Remember, it's a terrific film. It really is, and it's a terrific retelling of the sinking of the Titanic, and I really think it's the best telling of the sinking of the Titanic. Story-wise, acting-wise, running time-wise, it's a much more solid Titanic movie package. I think that's really all I need to say about A Night to Remember. Amazingly, you can watch A Night to Remember for free right here on YouTube. I can only assume it's because maybe the copyright on the film has expired. So you get to watch it for free right here on YouTube. And I will post the link in the description box down below. So you can just kick back right here on YouTube and watch and enjoy A Night to Remember. So I don't know what else to say about it. I think A Night to Remember is, without a shadow of a doubt, the very best movie about the sinking of the Titanic. Wonderfully acted, directed, great script, tight 2-hour running time. It just flies by, and it does have the tension and the fear that obviously was being felt that night as the Titanic sank under the water. It does it really, really well. Not bad at all for a production from 60 years ago. So I applaud A Night to Remember. It is a terrific Titanic film, and it is, in my opinion, the best film about the sinking of the Titanic. So you owe it to yourself to watch A Night to Remember. You can watch it here for free right here on YouTube. Click the link down below and enjoy. So thumbs up all the way. 4 stars out of 4 for A Night to Remember from 1958. My pick for the best Titanic film ever made. Happy 60th anniversary, A Night to Remember. And I want to say thank you to Jack McCullough for the request for me to review this movie for you. I'd like to give a shout out to Jack McCullough, his YouTube channel, Jack McCullough Film Fanatic. I'll put the link to his channel down below as well. He reviews movies. He is also reviewing the classic Doctor Who series like I am. And he could definitely use some more subscribers. He's worth it. So please subscribe to his channel. Tell him Alan Kalo sent you. And by the way, I would also like to recommend another YouTuber who has always been supportive of my channel. His name is Ollie, but on YouTube he goes by the name of Mr. TARDIS 11. He also does movie reviews, and he is also reviewing the classic Doctor Who series along with me. So check out Mr. TARDIS 11. I'll put a link down below to his channel as well. So anyway, folks, that's my review of A Night to Remember. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with another movie review. See you then.